If you're thinking about moving to Florida's Space Coast in 2026, I'm willing to bet Melbourne and Palm Bay are right at the top of your list. I mean, it does make sense. They're right next to each other. Both are just minutes from the beach, and they both offer that amazing Florida lifestyle. But what if I told you that the most obvious choice for affordability might not be the smartest move for your wallet in the long run? Think of it like buying a car. One car has a lower sticker price, but it gets terrible gas mileage and needs constant, expensive repairs. The other costs more upfront, but it is efficient and very reliable, saving you money every single month. You're not just comparing two cities, you're comparing two completely different financial futures. Melbourne's home prices have seen some fascinating fluctuations, with a notable dip in early 2025 that has since stabilized. Meanwhile, Palm Bay continues its reign as one of Florida's most affordable spots in the entire region. The decision seems simple, right? Just go where it's cheaper. Well, it's not that easy. The real picture is so much more complex than the sticker price on a house. We're gonna break it all down. The projected 2026 cost of living, the very latest house data, and the hidden expenses for both of these Space Coast cities to figure out where you should actually live. And I think the answer is gonna surprise you. I'm a local real estate agent right here on the Space Coast, and I've helped tons of families figure out this exact question. The link to book a call with me is in the description below. Treat yourself, don't cheat yourself. I'm here to help you too. Let's get to it. All right, let's tackle the biggest factor on everyone's mind, housing. This is in fact the #1 reason people start comparing Palm Bay and Melbourne in general. And the numbers for 2026 tell a really interesting story. Throughout 2025, the housing market has been adjusting. Think of it like a pot of boiling water. A few years ago, the market was at a rolling boil, with prices bubbling up uncontrollably. Now, the heat has been turned down to a gentle simmer, making it much more balanced and predictable. In Melbourne, this created a real window of opportunity for buyers. While early 2025 saw a noticeable price drop, the market has since found its footing, with median sales prices in the late 2025 hovering between $317,000 and $390,000 depending on the data source. Homes have stayed on the market a bit longer, around 70 days exactly, which means buyers have some breathing room and more power to negotiate. Now, let's look at Palm Bay. While Melbourne's market adjusted from a higher peak, Palm Bay's prices have always been fundamentally lower. And to be quite frank, that's its main draw. Late 2025 figures show the median sales price in Palm Bay is around $311,000 to $320,000. What that means on the ground is that finding a solid home in Palm Bay neighborhoods for under $250,000 is actually possible, whereas a similar home in Melbourne might start closer to the low 300s. The difference gets even bigger with larger homes. That's why in general, housing costs in Palm Bay can feel about 7% lower than in Melbourne. So what does this all mean for you as a buyer in 2026? First, the crazy out of control price growth we saw a few years ago is over now. The market is no longer on that rolling boil, which is great news for buyers. The Melbourne discount from early 2025 was a fascinating moment. It was like a flash sale at a luxury department store. For a brief time, you could get a premium product for a price you wouldn't normally see. Even though that sale is over, prices haven't shot back to their absolute peak. This means in 2026, you might find a home in a Melbourne neighborhood with more established amenities, sidewalks, and city services for a price that was unimaginable a couple years ago. But don't mistake adjusted for cheap. Melbourne's median price is still higher than Palm Bay's. Palm Bay's strength is pure, uncompromising affordability. Your dollar just goes further. For the same price as a smaller or older home in Melbourne, you can often get a larger, newer house in Palm Bay, frequently on a bigger piece of land even. If your main goal is to maximize your space and to minimize your mortgage, Palm Bay has a clear advantage. Plus, builders are very active in Palm Bay, often offering incentives that can make a brand new home even more attractive. But as we know, there's always a trade-off, isn't there? Melbourne's higher entry point is supported by a stronger base, including higher per capita income. For all of my investors, this is like investing in a blue chip stock. It suggests that once the market is fully stabilized, Melbourne properties could have greater potential for long-term appreciation. So, for 2026, the housing question is, do you take advantage of Melbourne's more balanced market to get into an amenity-rich city for less than peak price? Or do you go for the undeniable affordability and bigger yards that Palm Bay consistently offers? It's the classic battle of long-term value versus upfront costs. And the right call could really depend on your budget and what you want right outside your front door. Okay, we've established your mortgage will almost certainly be lower in Palm Bay, but owning a home is about so much more than that. The total cost of living is where the financial picture gets really interesting, and the differences are more subtle than you think. Overall, data shows Palm Bay is about 4.2% cheaper than to live in Melbourne. That may not sound huge, but it can add up to thousands of dollars a year. To put it another way, a person will need about $47,888 in Palm Bay to have that same standard of living as someone making $50,000 in Melbourne. Let's break down the three biggest expenses after your house payment. You have property taxes, homeowners insurance, and transportation. First, property taxes. Here in Florida, that's a big deal. Think of your property tax bill like a tip at a restaurant. The county's tax rate is the tip percentage, which is around 0.72% to 0.95%, actually lower than the state and national average. But as you all should know, the final bill you pay is based on the price of your meal, aka your home's assessed value. Since Melbourne's homes are generally more expensive, your tax bill will naturally be higher. A bigger check means a bigger tip, even with the same percentage. Next up is the real shocker, an obvious one to say the least: homeowners insurance. Florida's insurance market is famously expensive, and Brevard's coastal location means it's some of the highest premiums in Central Florida. The average homeowners insurance in Melbourne can be staggering, with the recent data putting in around $5,317 a year. That's a whopping $443 a month. Other sources show averages closer to the state average of around $4,419 per year. While Palm Bay faces the same hurricane risk, even though we haven't had a direct hit in God knows how long, the simple fact that homes have a lower replacement cost can lead to more manageable premiums. So insuring a $300,000 home will always be cheaper than insuring a $400,000 home. Obviously, right? My advice: as you plan your 2026 budget, get insurance quotes for specific properties in both cities. It is absolutely essential and can dramatically change your monthly payment. Finally, let's talk about transportation. This is one of the few areas where Melbourne might save you some money. Transportation costs in Palm Bay is about 5.7% higher. Why? Palm Bay is like a sprawling country estate, while Melbourne is more like a compact, well-organized city grid. On the estate, you have tons of space, but you need a car to get everywhere. Melbourne's denser layout puts things closer together, meaning shorter drives. Your daily trip to work, the grocery store, or school will more likely mean more time in the car and more money for gas in Palm Bay. The money you save on a mortgage could get partially eaten up by gas at the pump. And when you look at other daily costs like groceries and utilities, the differences are pretty small. And since both cities share the same major hospital systems, healthcare costs are nearly identical. So when you add it all up for 2026, Palm Bay does hold a title for the most affordable city, mainly thanks to lower housing, taxes, and insurance costs. But those transportation costs are a real factor that can chip away at those savings. Now, numbers on a spreadsheet are one thing, but where you live is about feeling. It's about the life you want to live every single day. And this is where Melbourne and Palm Bay are night and day. They might be neighbors, but they have totally different personalities. Melbourne has a dense suburban or even a city feel. It's the cultural economic heart of the South Space Coast. The city is made up of these vibrant, unique districts. You got the O'Galley Arts District, or EGAD, with its cool galleries and street art. Then there's the historic downtown Melbourne, which is super charming and walkable, packed with little shops, amazing restaurants, and a great nightlife. Melbourne just simply has more restaurants, more coffee shops, more things to do per square mile. It has the Brevard Zoo and the Hanninger Center for the Arts. If your perfect weekend is walking through an art festival and trying a new restaurant, Melbourne is definitely your place. Palm Bay, on the other hand, is all about a quieter, more suburban, and sometimes even rural vibe. It's what you call a bedroom community, where life centers on family, nature, and your own space, not a busy downtown. Because it's less dense, the lots are bigger and the neighborhoods are more spread out, giving you a real sense of privacy. While Melbourne does have its bustling districts, Palm Bay's identity is tied to its incredible access to the great outdoors. It's definitely a paradise for nature lovers. You have the amazing Turkey Creek Sanctuary for hiking and kayaking, the Malabar Scrub Sanctuary, and the giant Fred Pope Regional Park. The lifestyle here is about enjoying your own backyard and hitting the nature trails. The difference shows up in the infrastructure too. Most of Melbourne has sidewalks, making it more pedestrian friendly. In parts of Palm Bay, especially the older, more spread out sections, sidewalks are less common, which just reinforces that car-dependent lifestyle. For families, this could be a really tough decision. Melbourne's public schools are on average rated a bit higher, and it's home to one of the top colleges in the world, Florida Institute of Technology. But Palm Bay's huge advantage is affordability and those larger homes that are attractive for growing families who need room to spread out. It's a city that's working hard to build community through local events, sports leagues, and senior centers. At the end of the day, it's just about your priorities. Do you crave the energy and convenience of a city with a dynamic cultural scene? That's simply Melbourne. Or do you prefer a quieter life with more personal space and direct access to Florida's natural beauty? Even if that means driving a little bit more, then that's for sure Palm Bay. Listen, if this breakdown is helping you get some clarity, do me a quick favor and hit that like button. It really helps the channel reach more people who are trying to make the same exact choice. And remember, if you have questions about a specific neighborhood or the market in general, the link to book a call is in the description below. And as you all know, I'm here to be your go-to resource. So treat yourself, don't cheat yourself. When you buy a home, you're not just buying into the city as it is today, you're investing in this future. Both cities are growing fast, but in very different ways. Think of it this way. Melbourne is like a classic, well-maintained luxury car getting a detailed tune-up and a fresh coat of wax. The city is already established, so its growth is focused on making what's there even better. A huge project that will impact residents is the $56.6 million widening of Ellis Road, with major construction kicking off in late 2026. This is definitely a quality of life upgrade. Melbourne also continues to be a powerhouse for aerospace and tech, with giants like L3 Harris and Northrop Grumman. This high-tech job market is the powerful, reliable engine that supports property values. And Palm Bay, however, is like a vintage car that's in the middle of a radical high-performance overhaul. For years, it was just a quiet suburb, but now it's getting a brand new supercharged engine. The metro area recently saw a phenomenal 41.6% surge in high-tech employment, ranking it as the second fastest growing tech hub in the nation. The average tech salary in the area is now over $106,000, which is completely reshaping the city's economic landscape. The city does have an ambitious 8-year plan to develop nearly 1 million square foot of commercial and industrial space in, guess what, the compound. This project is going to create an estimated 2,500 new jobs. Palm Bay is strategically turning itself from a bedroom community into a key destination. So I'll ask you, what does this mean for you in 2026? Living in Melbourne means you're in a mature city that's investing in refinement, all supported by an established, high-paying job market, and also the growth is stable and predictable. Living in Palm Bay means you're getting in on the ground floor of a city in the middle of a transformation. This brings the excitement of new growth, but also potential growing pains. It's like a teenager having a massive growth spurt. Sometimes the infrastructure struggles to keep up. Your choice here is about your appetite for change. Melbourne offers stability, Palm Bay offers the high growth potential of a rising star. All right, after breaking down the housing, the true cost of living, the lifestyle, and where the cities are headed, where should you actually live in 2026? Melbourne or Palm Bay? As I've shown you here, there's no single winner. The best choice is all about what you value the most. Let's sum it up. So where should you live? If your absolute top priority is the lowest possible housing costs and getting the most space for your money, Palm Bay is your answer. It's the undisputed champion of affordability, offering larger lots and lower property tax, and insurance bill that can make owning a home more accessible. It's the perfect choice for families needing room to grow, first-time home buyers on a tight budget, and anyone who wants a quiet, nature-focused life, and also doesn't mind driving on top of that. However, if you're willing to invest a bit more in the city atmosphere, a huge range of amenities, and quicker access to shops and entertainment, then Melbourne is worth every extra penny. It's the blue chip stop. Its vibrant downtowns, highly rated schools, and walkable neighborhoods offer a quality of life that simply commands a higher price. And with the housing market now in a more buyer-friendly state, 2026 is a unique opportunity to get into this fantastic city for a more reasonable price. Making a move is a massive decision, and the data can only tell you so much. The best way to know which city feels right is to simply see it for yourself. And you guessed it, that's what I'm here for. My passion is helping people navigate this exact choice to find their perfect home on the Space Coast. Whether you're ready to start house hunting tomorrow or just gathering info for a 2026 move, I'm here to help. And you can also book a free, no obligation call using the Calendly link in the description below. I love to answer your questions and help you make Space Coast your home. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I cannot wait to hear from you. See you in the next video.